My first speech experience was a complete disaster, and I will never forget it as long as I live. I walked into my 8th grade English class minding my own business like I always do, only to hear my teacher say, "Today, students, we begin oral book reports." This made me nervous because I had not remembered that this was the day to begin oral book reports. I had not remembered to prepare my oral book report. I had not remembered to read the book. I was in very big trouble. But only 4 students would be presenting that day out of 27 in the class. And I knew that my chances of having to present were very slim because, you see, our teacher had a very democratic way of ensuring absolute fairness in the order of presentation. She took little slips of paper, one for every student in the class, numbered them, folded them up, put them inside a shoebox, and handed that up and down the aisles. Each student would draw out that number that would determine the order of their demise. I knew that I had a pretty good chance of being given a reprieve, but I still felt nervous as the box came to my desk. I reached in, took out my slip of paper, unfolded it. Number 1. I was so afraid of speaking in front of a group and so embarrassed at having been unprepared that I began to weep. Now, there is nothing more embarrassing to an 8th grade boy than crying in class. This made me cry even harder. Finally, my teacher said to me, "Just put your head down on the desk. You can give your presentation another day." That was my first speech experience. And I want to tell you that the fear I experienced on that day is a fear that is common to virtually every person in America. In fact, a study done in 1973 showed that speaking in front of a group is the #1 fear of Americans. They asked people to write in, "What is your greatest fear?" And the amazing thing is, people put down wild things like death is my greatest fear, or drowning is my greatest fear, or getting into a fiery car accident is my greatest fear. But when all of the results came in, people feared public speaking more than they feared any of those other things. This means that the average American is more afraid of giving a speech than they are afraid of dying, even dying in a horrible accident. One comedian put it this way. He said, "If this is true, the average American at the average funeral would rather be the one in the casket than the one delivering the eulogy." That is real fear. Almost everyone feels it. In fact, I told you in the last video that 95% of the people in America said if they had a choice, they would never stand up and give a speech in front of a group. I'm here to tell you that I have never really truly overcome the fear of speaking in front of a group. I still feel that adrenaline rush. I still feel that sense of nervousness. But you see, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in spite of fear. Courageous people never really overcome their fears. They just become determined to push through them and to use that adrenaline to their advantage.